Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into plantar fasciitis. You know, that sharp, stabbing pain in your heel that can make that first step in the morning absolutely agonizing. It's one of the most common and, let's be honest, frustrating foot problems out there. And if you've ever had it or treated it, you know the pain is only half the battle. The other half is navigating the just sheer number of treatments. From stretching and icing to injections and weird gadgets, the options seem endless. It's enough to make anyone's head spin. So in this explainer, we're going to flip the script. Instead of just adding another treatment to your list of things to try, we're going to clear the clutter. We're going to focus on what the absolute highest level of scientific evidence says we should stop doing. And how are we going to do that? Well, we've got the ultimate guide. We're using the brand new 2023 Clinical Practice Guideline, or CPG, from the American Physical Therapy Association. Think of this as the definitive playbook, synthesizing all the best research into one powerful document. Okay, before we get into the nitty-gritty, you have to understand this. The guideline grades its recommendations. Grade A means the evidence is rock solid. B is moderate, C is weak, and grade D, this one's important, means the evidence is conflicting or all over the place. This grading system is our map for cutting through the noise. All right, let's start with the single strongest don't do it recommendation in the entire guideline. This one gets a big red light, and we're talking about therapeutic ultrasound. I mean, you can't get much clearer than that. This is a grade A recommendation, the highest level of certainty possible. The guideline says clinicians should not use ultrasound to try and make stretching work better. And that's a huge deal, considering how often this machine has been humming away in clinics for years. So here's the bottom line. Stretching by itself? Great. It's one of the most effective things you can do. But when top-tier studies looked at adding ultrasound to the mix, what do they find? Nothing. Zero. No extra benefit for pain, no extra benefit for function. It was basically a waste of time. And that's why that grade A matters so much. This isn't just someone's opinion. It's a conclusion built on the most bulletproof scientific evidence we have. The data is so overwhelming that the guideline can confidently say, just stop doing this. Okay, next up, let's talk about something super common but often misunderstood, foot orthoses, or as most of us call them, orthotics. Now, the advice here is a little more nuanced. The key word on this slide, the one I really want you to focus on, is isolated. This is a grade B recommendation, so there's moderate evidence behind it. The guideline isn't saying orthotics are bad. What it's warning against is using them as a standalone, magic bullet solution. The best way to think about this is like building a house. You need a solid foundation, right? That's your active treatments, things like manual therapy and stretching. Then you can add orthotics as a helpful support beam, something to complement the whole structure, but they can't be the entire building themselves. All right, let's get to our last category. These are the treatments that the guideline basically tells us to push way down the priority list. We're talking about electrotherapy. See that grade? It's a D. And remember, D means the evidence is conflicting and messy. Because the science is so inconsistent, the guideline makes a judgment call on priorities. It says you should choose the things we know work, like manual therapy and stretching, instead of reaching for electrotherapy first. Let's use a sports analogy. You're a coach and you're picking your starting lineup. You're going to put your all-stars on the field first, right? Those are your grade A treatments. Electrotherapy with its conflicting evidence, that's a bench player. Maybe you'll call on it later if you need to, but it should never be your first choice. So we've cleared away a lot of the clutter. We know what to stop doing, what not to do by itself, and what not to prioritize. So the big question is, what's left? What does a powerful, modern, evidence-based plan actually look like? While the guideline gives its strongest grade A support to a core group of treatments, these are your heavy hitters. We're talking hands-on manual therapy, stretching that specifically targets the plantar fascia, taping for short-term pain relief, and night splints, which are an absolute game changer for that first step pain. This is your starting lineup. You see, this guideline gives us a clear roadmap. By understanding what the evidence tells us to stop doing, we can focus our energy on what actually works. It empowers us to build smarter, more effective treatment plans. So the real question to ask yourself is your plan built on a solid foundation of do's, or is it still cluttered with the don'ts?